Hello everyone. In this video we are going to solve the problem picnic groups which was given in POD on 21st November. So let's get started. Alright, so in this problem we are given a problem about people which are going to a picnic which are divided into n groups and are trying to get cabs. They want to minimize the cost, so they want to get minimum number of cabs. So, alright, so let's just read the problem statement once. After solving yesterday's problem, Adarsh is now enjoying and decides to go on a picnic. All of his classmates are divided into n groups. Cabs are going to be ordered depending on the number of students. The classmates which belong to the same group have to travel together. Each cab can carry at most 4 students. What is the minimum? Okay, the number of cabs needed if all classmates of each group should travel in the same car, and one car can take more than one group. Okay, so the first line contains a number n. The second line contains n space separated integer, the size of each group. Okay. Alright, so let's take the sample input. They are saying one cab will be required with a group having 4 people, one cab will be required by a group of people having 3 and 1, 2 and 3, 5, so 2 more. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 4, 3, 3. So the basic, to me the problem appears as a problem where we have to minimize the number of cabs. Okay, so how do I do that? Isn't it trying to find the numbers that would sum up to 4, removing those numbers, because all the numbers which sum up to 4 become one taxi each, and then the remaining ones, if the sum is greater than 4, if the sum is greater than 4, then definitely for both of them we need to require separate taxis, right? And if sum of both the numbers is less than 4, then we basically add them and wait if we find some group which makes the sum 4, or we give them a separate taxi in the end. So that's how, that's the approach we're going to use to solve this problem. Let's implement it. I think you'll have a better idea. Alright, so the first line, we have a number of groups. So we have number of groups is equal to int input, and then we have the groups, which I can take an input directly using groups is equal to list of map of input dot split, right? It's space separated. All right, so now we have group. So now we do we can just basically, let's first sort it. So now after sorting, let's take an example. Okay, so let's say we have this one. Let's take the sample input first. We have this. Now this becomes 1, 2, 3, 3, 4. So what we do is we start combining from last and first. So we have 4 plus 1. Now if we combine from first and last, there would be 2 cases, right? 3 cases in total. Sum greater than 4, sum equal to 4, and sum less than 4, right? In cases the sum is greater than 4, what we do is in case of sum greater than 4, we will remove the bigger number, which will obviously be the last number. So we'll remove this and we'll go ahead with 1, 2, 3, 3. So, and we'll increment the taxi count. Okay, and let's say initialize taxi is equal to 0. Okay, when sum is equal to 4, we will do is we will basically, when sum is equal to 4, so we have found so we can basically remove both of them and basically add a taxi. So we remove both of them. Okay, so remove both the groups from the list, and add a taxi. So taxi plus equal to 1 in this case as well. And so suppose we have 3 plus 1 is equal to 4 now. So we are left with 3. We already consumed 2. So the sum in this case now 3 plus 2 is greater than 4. So what we do is we remove the bigger one. So we remove 3. And now again we use another taxi. So we have taxi plus 1, and again we are left with 2, so we have another 2 taxi plus 1, so now we have a total of 4 taxis. So if we divide in these 3 cases, I think we can solve this problem. So let's try to implement the logic this way. Okay, so now while I have more than one group, okay, len of groups is greater than 1, sorry, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to see current sum of groups is equal to groups of 0 plus groups of last index, which is equal to -1 in Python. So if current sum is greater than 4, then we remove the last one, groups dot pop -1, and we do taxi plus equal to 1. So let's define number of taxis is now required is 0 and initialize it to 0, and then we have taxi plus equal to 1. Else if, which is elif in Python, if current sum is equal to 4, groups dot pop 0 groups dot pop -1 taxi plus equal to 1, sorry, plus equal to 1. Else else current sum is less than 4, right? So we do taxi plus equal to, sorry, groups dot pop, or basically we do groups dot append groups dot, basically remove all of them and append their sum to the list, right? So group dot pop -1, right? And now we do this process unless we have if we have, so in this case, see, in this case we take 2 groups out of the list, so there can be a chance that we may miss out on one group that may all, like there are no groups in this list. So what I'm saying is so let's get back. Okay, so this should give us the number of taxis, right? Let's try with the first test case. Okay, so the logic is very simple. I mean, just let's go through the logic once again. Number of groups, all the groups, sort them, try to combine from last and first, and see when the sum becomes 4, greater than 4 or less than 4. We act accordingly, and then we append taxi in the cases wherever we find suitable. So let's check this out. So Python 3 code.py, oops, input, somewhere I have made a mistake. Okay, yeah, sorry. So this is giving 3. Why 3? Let's do one thing. Let's print groups and see if we have. Okay, so we are still left with 2 in the groups list, right? So for these 2 we require separate taxi as well. So we check if len of groups is greater than 0, then taxi plus equal to 1, right? Sorry, let's take copy input again, Python 3 code.py, taxi. Yep, let's go. We get 4 over here, right? Let's try another test case. We are getting 5, so let's see if 5 is correct or not. So if we sort them, we get 1 2 3 2 2 3 3 4 4. With these 2 we already require 2 taxis. For this 3 we have 1, for this 3 we have 1. It's already 4 taxis over, and for 2 and 2 4 we require, so 5 taxis in total. So again, I'll go through the idea once again. It's not a very difficult problem. You just need to think thoroughly once more and just implement the logic simply. So while there are groups present, what we do is we sort them first and try to find out with the bigger number. Let's try to combine the smallest number. Are we able to get 4? If we are able to get 4, take both of them out of the list and increase the number of taxis by 1. if their sum is less than 4, then combine their sum and wait for someone who can make a taxi with them. If not, we'll give them a separate taxi. If the sum is 4, if the sum is totally equal to 4, then also remove both of them and increment a taxi. So basic simple logic divided into 3 steps. Hope you guys like this video. Thank you and goodbye.